Hi, Edgies. Thanks for watching the replay. I'm outside. Look at this awesome moon. It's very bright tonight. And I'm just walking back from my house. Hi, Jules. I'm outside. I was showing the moon. It's super bright right now. Hi, J Clue One. You have some clues, or what's your name? I'm guessing it's Jay. So my brother is visiting right now, and he bought my mom a fire pit to burn all of her, oh yeah, it is a full moon on Saturday. I listened to J-Ma's, astrological thing earlier. It's gonna be crazy, and I definitely can feel the forces of all of it going on right now. So he bought my mom a fire pit so that she could burn all of her papers that she needs to shred and stuff. So they might knock on my door in a little bit, and I might go out to the fire, because it is freezing cold in my cottage right now. Like, it's so cold. It has insulation, but it's just maybe a little bit less than a normal house. So it's probably like 60 degrees in my cottage right now. Okay, so if you are new here, hello to those of you who are here. My name is Lisa, and I blog about my yoga journey on boxedge.org, so I'm pretty much using this right now as I like how Jules told me the idea of uploading my consciousness to the internet, which is what I'm doing right now, because instead of me typing away trying to catch all of my thoughts, like, all in one, I'm just going to talk to you about my thoughts. And I might not necessarily respond to what you're saying a lot, but I do watch my replays and then take into consideration what you're asking or talking about. But feel free to chat in the box below. I do not mind at all, but if I feel like I'm like really on a topic and I just, really want to get my point across and complete my thoughts, then that might be why I'm a little bit quiet. But I'm so glad that so many of you are here, and if you are new to my scope, then definitely share with any of your friends that might be interested in the heart of yoga. Jules read to us the first 2 chapters. Let me get my book. She read the first 2 chapters tonight of the heart of yoga. And you can find the link to this book on my blog, boxedge.org. There's an Amazon link in there, and it's probably like $12, and so far it's very good. Like, I'm thankful, Jules, that you suggested this, because it seems like it's definitely going to help me comprehend like where I'm going at with my yoga practice, why I am practicing yoga, which is so funny because the word yoga, I know that most of you may hear the word yoga and think like doing like positions with your body, and that's definitely what I used to think of. Hey, Austin. That's definitely what I used to think of when I heard the word yoga, but now I'm just at this point. It was pretty quick, but I just think of yoga as life. So when I say the phrase practicing yoga or something, it's so funny to me because it just is so all-encompassing that it's just like a lifestyle. So it's like, how do you practice a lifestyle? And so that's a little thought of mine whenever we were talking about what yoga is. So the first chapter is yoga, the concept and meaning. So I have to reread maybe the first paragraph, because it kind of went into the 6 systems, or I don't even know. It was a little bit complicated, so I have to reread that because I got distracted. But the parts that really stood out to me about the beginning is talking about what yoga means, and it's saying about how it's about coming together or uniting and just being aware. Exactly. Well, thank you. And I really like that, and it's about being in the moment. And the whole time that you're reading this section, Jules, all that I could think of is a couple days ago I watched the mindfulness movie. I don't know if you're familiar, but in my blog post that I will put up later about this, I will put the link to the mindfulness movie. It's available on Gaim, and it was really good. I really liked it, and it's exactly about what this first chapter is pretty much talking about being present in the moment, like not thinking right now like, okay, I'm talking about my thoughts on this book, but later tonight I'm going to wash my laundry, and like, oh yeah, earlier today I told somebody I was going to call them. Like, not letting these like past and future thoughts come into your mind and just actually being here now, which is so funny because I used to work at USAA, which is an insurance company, and probably the only thing that I really took away from there as like a positive practice was they had all over the place this poster that said, "Be here now." And that was probably the only thing I took whenever I left, and it's so good. It's exactly what yoga is, and so I thought it was really funny because I would have never expected them to be kind of resonating with something such as that whenever I'm practicing yoga. But that's exactly what I think of all the time whenever I feel like I'm getting caught up in different things. I remind myself to be here now, and I'm trying to find a spot for my charger. Why is my phone screen doing really weird lines? Are you seeing that, or is it just on my end? Because there's like these really strange like white lines. Ah, that's so weird. Okay, I'll get this on a charger, but you may have to go sideways. Sorry. Does that? They have kitty poster hanging there. What? I don't have a kitty poster in here, and they definitely didn't have one at USAA, but do I have a kitty poster? No? Wait. Oh, there's a cow poster. My Chick-fil-A poster. It says, "Perseverance got to the ends of the earth for a burger-free future. The moment you quit doing that is the moment we become burgers. And when we're burgers, telling people to eat more chicken is really hard." So strange. But I like the idea. They did all these like motivational things this year. I saw those lines. It's always a surprise. I hope it's not my phone. Okay, you're gonna go sideways though because the charger is in the way for me to go upright. Yeah. Okay, so that was one thing though. The be here now was definitely resonating with me on that first chapter and is exactly what I practice for my yoga. So in breathing exercises, focusing on like my breath and not on the bug that's biting me, or, well, thank you for giving me so many hearts. I hope that I am talking to you about something that would make you want to give hearts. It's really bothering me that there's like that black speck. Okay, I don't like this angle, but it's gonna have to work right now. Anyways, so being present in like the breath exercises that we do and in the asanas, because yet again, like if we're doing a posture in yoga practice, this is, you know, the part where I'm really being very honest. Like, it's very hard for me not to think, I wonder how this camera angle looks on this posture, or I hope that my tag isn't sticking out, or I wonder if they're commenting and able to hear me talking and while I'm scoping this yoga position, or something silly like, I don't even know. Those are like the main ones that, you know, pop into your head when that should not be the thing that you're focused on at that moment, because you should be focused on what your body is doing and what it's going through. So that's where I'm really growing the most. The more and more that I'm able to be present in everything that I'm doing and not allowing random sporadic thoughts about what's going to happen or what has happened affect what's going on right now, is exactly the practice of yoga. And I feel like it's so shocking how many yogis are on Periscope, because I feel like Periscope is like distraction central. I have like a love-hate relationship with Periscope because it connects me with all of you. However, it is literally the most distracting thing ever. Not only does it distract me when I'm like doing everyday things, like it buzzes and I'm like, ooh, I wonder who's on Periscope, let's watch. And then I don't finish doing what I was planning on doing later. Or you are watching a Periscope and they're trying to like give you really good information or tell you something, and then you're like typing in rapidly like whatever comes to your mind, distracting them. And then you're on Periscope making a video, and instead of just like, you know, being present in that moment and finishing what you're thinking, then you have like 17 million comments come through that's like, how old are you? Hi, I'm from Australia. Where are you from? And so it's like so not in the moment. It's like, what am I answering now? So I try to make sure if I am watching a scope, I try to comment what's relevant and not ask really random questions, and try to be like cautious of how much I type, because like Jules earlier, I was getting on a subject that I could have typed a lot about, and I was like, no, this is not about what I want to type about. This is about what I want to hear, you know, from your experience. So that, yeah, so Periscope is a very interesting way of connecting to yogis, because it's, I guess it's like a really good test in your awareness, like to see if you can talk over these like 100 people at times that are trying to distract you, and if you can stay in the moment, then, and like really keep your mind set and be fluid, then I guess it's just a good practice. I guess it's like putting weights on your ankles or something. So yeah, so that was my first note, is that the first chapter absolutely reminded me of the mindfulness movie. And seriously though, like it was really good. It was like maybe an hour and a half. I watched it the other day. You're still getting used to updating, to being on the internet and on Periscope. Yeah, it's definitely an adjustment. And I guess, you know, it's just like in school, when you're like in like middle school, everyone wants to talk over each other, and you know, they teach you to like wait for somebody to talk and then listen. And I guess like Periscope is kind of another social form where you're going to learn how to like talk to somebody and listen and then get feedback. And it's just kind of hard because you can't see that somebody wants to say something. So it is good to leave pauses in between so that you can get some feedback. So anything that you wanted to say about that first section, I am listening now, because I really liked that first concept. Like that had already got me thinking right away. I'll wait for you to type as I think if I have any other thoughts to talk about on that one. But you're giving hearts, so I don't know if you're typing. Okay. Alright, so the other part about yoga as a concept and a meaning, I really loved how it talks about it's not associated with a divine or like a religion, because I absolutely do not care what religion you are. It's totally your call. And the reason why I practice and share yoga is because it is like non-denominational, like focus on religion. It's like teaching people how to make shoes. It has nothing to do with religion. It's just a thing to get through life, you know? And so I know that some yogis have associated yoga with religion, and that's fine if it helps them in their religion choice of life. Like, if that's helping them become more, like, happy in their life, then go right ahead. However, I do not believe in telling somebody, like, only one way of yoga or religion or a posture is the only way to do it. And I think he pretty much touches on that, is that yoga is going to be about you and you only. So just because Kino McGregor does Ashtanga every single day at 3 a.m. and so down the street is a vegan, or your teacher is only going to wear organic clothing, or I don't even know. Like, do you know what I mean? It doesn't mean that that's the way that you have to go about that path. And I appreciate that, because I am learning all aspects of yoga, but the journey is going to be completely different. Like, I started by doing physical practice because that's what I was introduced to. I didn't even know there was a lot of this other stuff at first. And now I'm slowly starting to learn more about meditation. So meditation became more important in my life because I needed it. And then now that I'm there, I'm also learning more about mudras and pranayama. Text gives names to stuff. Exactly. And eventually I'll probably get into something else part of yoga. So I like that it's very, I can't think of the right word, but it's flowing. It's always changing shape, and it's never going to be a constant. Like, you will not be doing yoga the same tomorrow. You will not be doing yoga the same yesterday. Whatever you're doing today is your yoga. Exactly. So I liked that, and when you were reading this, I was kind of thinking of how, like, he was saying, like, yoga is kind of like helping you learn how to life, you know, like how to live. And I imagine it kind of like the gears. Like, I should have wrote this one down. This one was hard to, like, recap what I was thinking. But, you know, life is the end result. Like, living is the thing that you want to get out of it. So yoga is just the thing you do to get to that result. So I guess if you were making a product, so say I wanted to make this bottle. This would be life, for example. And I'm like, I want to make this glass bottle, and I have the materials to do it. So you have the body, you have your mind, and you have your soul to, like, make life. Just like you had the, like, metal and the glass, and the tools, well, just the stuff, the products to make the end product. But you can't just be like, okay, metal and glass, just make this bottle, just do it. Just like you can't tell your body and your mind and your soul, just live, just do it. You have to, like, put checks and balances and a system together so that you can make it. So you may make a mold for the bottle. Say, I want my mold to look like this so that my bottle forms in this type of shape. The same way that you would mold your body by doing physical yoga practice. But then you wanted to make sure that your glass bottle was clear and that it wasn't, like, frosted. This has just got, like, lemon juice on it, so it is clear. So I need to find the right properties of the glass in order to keep it clear, which is a great example, I guess, of, you know, our mentality. We want to clear out our mentality so that you can just see right through, and there's no, like, imperfections blocking it, and that we don't feel like we're always in a fog every day. So, but we can't just say, okay, glass, be clear. Instead, we would make, like, calculations of the chemistry of glass to say how it would show up clear. And that's how our, like, mental part of yoga, we have to think, wash it, we have to think about how we would see stuff in a clear way rather than in a cloudy way, such as a clouded bottle. And then, like, spiritually, say we wanted to only use, like, pure silver for our metal, and we didn't want to go and buy, like, something like what's actually on here that rusts and stuff like that. So it's not, yet again, just saying, okay, metal, be pure silver, that's what I want you to be. Instead, you would go and do research and look, like, all over the world for the purest silver and find that silver that you wanted for your top. And just like for your soul, you're not just going to say, like, okay, soul, just be happy and be free, whatever. You are going to have to really find it. You're going to have to look for it and take some time. It's not just going to be there. And so that was a little bit different than the initial time that I thought of this, but I guess it does make a lot of sense in this example too. The first time I was thinking about gears and how you would make, like, the machine that kind of gets you to the end product, and that was also where I was going with this making a bottle, but it transformed into something different. So yoga is just the, like, gears in the process of making what we are looking for. Sutras are a manual for how to live with your mind. Awesome, which is why I'm really looking forward to reading them, because I have a feeling that it's really going to resonate very loudly in my mind. So that was pretty much the main stuff that was awesome in the first chapter, and I was already, I already think that way, but I like to hear the new words and ideas so I can further. Okay. So chapter 2 is the foundations of yoga practice. So the foundation of yoga practice. This had a lot of stuff, so I hope that I'm not here, like, all night talking, because I'm gonna have to try to sum it up in each point that I wrote down, because it's got a lot going on. So I didn't write anything in the beginning, so that's fine. Perception and action, I did write some notes on here. So part of the perception and action of yoga, it was talking about the avidyas and the vidyas, and talking about how we can end up with samskaras, where it's just like habits that we form that we just pretty much accept, and we just say that's life and we don't question them anymore. I would see that kind of like dogma in religion, which is something that I really suffered from for a very long time and still face a lot of. But, it says in the book, it's such a habituation in our action and perception is called samskara. It's the result of unconscious responses that the mind becomes more and more dependent on habits that we accept as actions of yesterday is the norms of today. And there's a ton. Like, I have a ton of samskaras. I've rid of a lot of samskaras, but every day I find new ones that I'm like, why am I doing that? Why does this keep happening? And so I question them a lot. And one thing that Mariana and Jules Scope was talking about, for example, is codependence. So sometimes we become dependent on somebody being in our life. So say, like, well, at one point in time, we got used to, like, depending on somebody else to be there in our life, and it made us feel so good that we then realized, or we thought that if that wasn't the case every single day, then we would just, like, die. It would just be, like, end game if they were gone, and that's how it feels inside of our bodies, like, because our minds got this, like, samskara going on. So that was one thing I wanted to talk to you about, Jules, because it's really, like, in depth. But pretty much, I read the book, attached the book, it is on my list. If you go to voxedge.org and then click on books, it's in my list of the Amazon store. And if you feel that you are either like very detached all the time or very attached all the time, it is a very good book to read. Or if you are a person you just kind of feel like you're attached but not really, but that you have experienced a person in your life that is like way too clingy, or somebody that you're like, what is their problem? Like, why are they always just like pushing me away? Then you might care to read it, but it might not affect you as much. And so the reason is that there are 3 types of attachment styles in people based on like psychological research. Now, unfortunately, well, I shouldn't say unfortunately. The way that my hand was dealt, I became a very codependent person, and I have a very anxious attachment style. And what that means is, there's a couple things that it means, actually. So one thing that Mariana, and I think Jules, that you were touching on, is that how you were treated by other people in the past, or even by your parents, would affect how you attach to others in your life. And that is a very big portion. However, they also have found that your actual genes can affect how you attach to others. So imagine this. You are a caveman, and when cavemen decided to start civilization, there was like a few different options of survival. You could either continue staying a caveman and go off on your own and like self-provide everything and survive that way. And for those who did survive living that way, that started passing through their genes. And just like we know to like, I don't know, we know to eat, for example. It's just in our minds. It's not something that somebody teaches us. We just look for food naturally. Well, it's the same idea, is that naturally through genes we were taught either, we could just avoid people because that would be one way of continuing on in the future, by staying away from others. Now, the other way that people survived, clearly, because we would not have social media if it did not happen, is that we accepted a community and we worked together, and, we had our own little homes and we had our own little space, but when it was necessary, we came together to, trade and barter, goods and services, and then we said, okay, thanks, okay, go back to my home and I'll live that way. And so that would be like the middle ground. So by the way, the first one, the caveman, would be considered I forgot the word. Anxious, avoidant. Okay, so they would be called avoidant. That makes sense, right? The middle one, where it's like, okay, we live in civilization, but we can still provide for ourselves. We have like this middle ground that's kind of like a balance. That would be a secure attachment. They depend on some people to be there, but they are also okay being alone. But then some people, yeah, it's exactly what I'm talking about. This is pretty much the basis of the book. You're getting the synopsis based on my interpretation. Then there are others who saw that, they could depend on somebody, and it just became so natural to be like, okay, well, maybe I'll go to this person because they're going to know best how to do this. And then so-and-so knows how to do best on this, so I'm going to go to them. And then so-and-so knows best how to do this, and I'm going to go to them. And really, I just don't know how to make a house, so maybe I'll just go live at so-and-so's house. And then, I don't really know